Hi folks, this is Cobbett of the Shire doing a VR to Yardism for his day 10 question on saying no. First of all, the housekeeping. I'm smoking my Savinelli Servo Porto, and in it I've got some Peterson Holiday Blend 2016. These two go together like a dream. But anyway, how to say no or saying no. It's one of the questions that I only learnt late in life. And I think it has something to do with getting older. But it's a question that we really need to know that we need to deal with. How to say no. One of the pressures on us is to say yes to everything. If we're at work, we don't want to lose our job, we don't want to lose customers, we don't want to lose friends or whatever. Or if it's within our church or home or an organisation, again, we don't want to offend people. So we feel under a pressure to say yes. And if we say yes, then we get resentful. We get overwhelmed with what other people want for us or what other people want us to do. And we don't know how to say no. We usually say, I'm sorry, I can't do that because, and we give them an excuse. And the immediate answer to that is to question the excuse. Well, when can you do it? Or well, if I do this, can you do that? The excuse will soon be found out as a lie. People will get used to it. He's always got an excuse, that one. There's a very simple way to do it, is to say, I'm sorry, I can't do that, and leave it. If they come back and say, why can't you do it? You say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. They'd be surprised if you turn around and said, well, at that time of day, I'm always making love to the neighbour next door. That's a personal thing when you say, I'm sorry, I can't do it. You don't need to say, I've got something else on, because if you do, they'll say, well, when can you do it? I suppose you can even get asked, when can you do it? The answer then is, I'm sorry, I can't do it. You don't have to give an answer. And it's important that you learn to do that. They might not like it, but they can't question why can't you do it, because that's private. Your diary, and usually they don't question it. They just accept it. And if they don't and they keep pushing you, well, then do you really want them to be your friend anyway? Do you really want them to, if somebody's putting you under that kind of pressure, you just say, I've given you my answer, I can't do it, and leave it at that. I know that sounds easy to say, and it's not. But once you get into the habit of saying it, the easier it becomes, and the less guilt you feel and the less pressure you're under. You're not saying, I don't like you. You're saying nothing about that to people. You're not saying, I don't want to do it. You're saying, I can't do it. And that's it. For whatever reason. It might be that you're going in hospital. It might be that you've got something else on. It might be that you want time for yourself, but they don't need to know that. They don't need an excuse of saying, I can't do it because, leaves you open. I'm aware, as I've said all this, that it sounds super easy. But believe me, it gets results. And people don't seem to resent it. They just accept, oh, I've asked him and he can't do it. It's surprising how many people put themselves under pressure by feeling, I've got to do it. Especially if you're on a rota for something. You know, and you sort of think, oh God, I've got that on Sunday, or I've got that on whatever it is. Ring up the person who organises the rota and say, look, I'm sorry, something's come up, or, you know, I'm sorry, I can't do Sunday. Can you find somebody else? It's important that you do that so that you're not under pressure, so that you're not overworked, so that you've got time to recover. And we all need time to recover. When I worked in the church and was a priest, if I'd been to someone who was dying, or if I'd been to someone, if I'd taken a funeral, for example, I would come back to the vicarage and spend some time for myself, to wind down from the pressures and the involvement that I'd just been through. And it didn't matter if I'd got something else in my diary at the time. I mean, if it was very important, I might do my winding down after that. But you've got to have a time to get rid of things that are burdening you. I'm going to leave it there because I think I've answered the question as well as I can. I said it was something to do with getting older, and it is. You learn to complain in restaurants. You learn to stand up for your rights. I'm not 100% good at this one, but it is along those lines of I can't do it. You know, it's sort of saying, excuse me, but this tea's bloody awful. You know, could I have some more? Or, you know, could you take it away? One of the problems I have is with steaks. In England, we don't know how to cook steaks very well in most places. And you'll go into a restaurant and you'll say, could I have my steak rare, please? You don't want it quite blue, but you want it rare. And invariably it'll come medium rare. Because they don't want to waste the steak and they don't believe that you really want it rare. And maybe it's time to say, I'm sorry, love, this isn't rare. This is, you know, medium rare, or this is overcooked. And if you really want it rare, then blue. But I'll stop there. And again, wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. May your God go with you.